All right, let's turn on, it's gonna get hot really fast, but let's set the mood. Oh, it's good, it's good. So what's up, you guys? We are live, we are hanging out, we're gonna go through a ton of vision board stuff, a ton of goal planning stuff for 2020, a lot of real talk, a lot of opinions, a lot of stuff that I got rid of that have helped me so much, a lot of things that I added into my goal planning and goal setting, and no BS attitude towards achieving the stuff that you want in life, and how I've done this, how my husband has done this, and we're gonna take you guys through it. So we are live, we are in the comments section, so if you're on the premiere right now, thank you for being here, first of all, and both Andre and I are live, and we're gonna be answering your questions with you in the comments section. So if you have anything that you wanna say or anything that you wanna ask, we are 100% here for you, and I'm gonna take you through, I have like my laptop out, I have books, pen to paper, it's really raw and unedited though, and I want you to know that, like, we're just gonna hang out, and I don't really have a ton of things planned in terms of scripts. I am not scripted. You're literally gonna see my goal planning process for 2020. So let's jump into it. Let's do this. So the first thing that I wanna say is welcome. If you are on our team, you're supposed to be here. This is the official kickoff call for our best year ever training. If for whatever reason you found this video because it is on a public YouTube channel, and that's the only way that I can do the premiere feature, you are still welcome to join. Don't feel like you're out of place. I will leave an email down below if you have any questions. You are more than welcome to join, but just know this is the kickoff call for our best year ever training, and the only way that you can get into the group and see the other training videos is if you're a team up or a coach. So if for whatever reason you're not, it's okay. You can be a part of this one. And if you want to continue, just sign up to be a coach and you can like live your best life for 2020. So let's do this. Let's talk about everything that you're going to need. And this is where the real talk is going to start. Everything that you're going to need: a planner, a book, the fanciest pen. I'm kidding. I asked you guys this in the best year ever group. Like, what is it that you feel like you've been missing? Like, what did you do right in 2019 and what did you do wrong, and where do you feel like you can improve? And I said, hint, it's not a planner. Because I think that not only our generation, but I really feel in 2019, it was very hip and very cool to grab every planner on the planet. And if you were one of those people like I was, you probably used one page of it and then never picked it up again. If you're someone that really benefited from that system, then amazing, keep doing it. But I think that the best thing that you can do at the beginning of a fresh year is assess what did you do well and what didn't work. Like, it's not that you didn't do something right, it's that that system did not work for you, and usually those systems are fluff. So whether that be trying to have the fanciest planner with a bunch of stickers and all these grids and everything, that might not be what works for you. And the reason that my system works for me is it's literally just a piece of paper and I just write down my thoughts. Like, there's no fancy system for me. I just write and I put it into action. And I'm gonna be super, super frank with you guys today. I'm gonna share things that I had set as goals for myself. I'm gonna show you how I create a vision board, but how I actually do the things that I set out to do. And that's one of the most frustrating things. And I kind of wanna go into that for a second with you. And it might hurt a little bit, but where are you right now in your life? Like, that's one thing that I want to talk to you guys about today is we're going to go through categories of life. And there is different categories in your life where you might be excelling in one area. Like, I don't know, your job might be going really well, or it might be the opposite. Your job might be not fulfilling you at all, and income is a really sore point for you, and your relationship might be amazing, or vice versa. Like, there's all these different areas of life. Health and fitness, like your internal health and your happiness level. I feel like health and fitness is one thing, and then your internal vibration of happiness is another. You've got your relationship with your spouse and your tight-knit family. You've got your relationships with like your extended family and your friends. You have how your goals and your aspirations are being achieved. Like, are you doing the things that you set out to do? Are you, setting out to go on that dream trip that you wanted to go on? Are you seeing that dream car in your near future? Like, really, like the material things, like the trips and the cars and the glam and the glitz, that's what you want. The things, the wants, not the needs. And that's okay, by the way. And sometimes that can be the thing that drives you the most. And that was so true for me. That was the thing that like first propelled me. I set a goal to be able to go on a Disney trip, but that I paid for it for my husband. So while as an outsider, it might be a very, selfish thing, or even just at first look, that you're setting this goal and you're like, I want to go on a vacation to Disney World. And you're like, well, that's so selfish. Like, it's not though, because if you dig deeper, why do you want it? There's a reason there. There's a reason of why you want it. And the very first thing, like, I was flat broke. I had no money. I was what you call in the red. Andre called me one afternoon. If you've never heard the story, I decided to randomly share it once, and someone said, like, that was a side of you I didn't know. I had fallen asleep on the couch, not in this house, in our condo, to daytime TV, and I was awoken by a phone call from my husband, and he said, you know you need to pay your Visa bill, right? And I said, yeah. And he said, I'm looking at it right now, and you don't have the money in your account to pay it. So I thought, like, not only am I not contributing to my new little family, because he was my new husband, I'm not contributing, and I've put us in the negative. I've put us in the red, which means, like, you can't pay your bill, and you either need to borrow money or you just will put yourself deeper and deeper into the hole on your Visa bills, which is a very sore point for many of you, and you might be feeling that. Sometimes you need that gut check, but the reason in which I said, okay, I want to contribute, and that word became huge. I didn't just want to be a wife that was sitting at home falling asleep to daytime TV. I wanted to give something, and I wanted to do something. And I knew that the vessel that would bring me there would be my new business that I had just started as a coach, but I couldn't get myself to do something. And I know a lot of you guys on here are coaches, and that means that you're self-employed, or maybe you found this and you are self-employed and you're like, I can't get motivated to do anything, or I can, but not for a long enough period of time. It's not, and I hate this, oh my God, I hate this trend right now. Your why isn't strong enough. You probably have a really strong reason why. You want to get out of debt and you want to live your best life ever, or have the best year ever, but you're like, why am I not? There's something that is disconnected. It's either way too far out there, as in, and what I mean by that, you can have the most far out goal that you're like, that could never happen, but there's some form of a bridge that you know that you can bridge that gap. You know that you can. But if it's not clear to you, and if there isn't that reason as to how and who you're doing it for, and you're connecting, it's not the why, because the why would have been like, I really want to go to Disney World. There's no deep meaning connection to that, but you almost need to hit a breaking point of, I will no longer live this way. And when you kind of set that expectation for yourself and that measure where no more, you stop living that way. And I think that that's the most amazing thing that you can recognize for the year that's coming. It doesn't have to be this long drawn out thing. Many of your biggest decisions that you're going to make today, hopefully for the rest of your year, are things that looking back, you're going to be like, I made that switch in like an instant. And a lot of us do. When you make the biggest decisions in your life, it's usually you clicked yes to sign up, or you said, yes, I will marry you, or your whole life changes in 2 seconds. When you think of the biggest moments that literally give you goosebumps, that you're like, I am so grateful that that happened to me. It wasn't a big drawn out thing. It might have been a year leading up to it and you finally decided to do something, but it was a moment. So stop thinking that you need this huge planned out thing with all the lists and all the methods and all of the best pens and the best. You don't. You just need to do it. You need to say yes and commit and do it, and understand how you're going to bridge that gap, which I'm going to help you guys with. And I also want more champagne. And if you guys already have questions, by the way, feel free to ask anything. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling frustrated, I would actually love to know, where are you right now in, like, what is frustrating you that you could almost like cry about it? Like, what's something that maybe you never shared, like the couch story? I had never shared that, and it was hard to share. It was embarrassing. But when I did share it and I did recognize, like, oh, I don't want to live that way, and I don't want no more. Like, I can't do that. It's a standard that you've set for yourself. And when you're ready to move up from that standard, I think that's when your life changed. So share something. Like, it might be hard, it might be embarrassing, but most of this is pretty, no one will know who you are. You're good. It's very anonymous in the comments, so share away. And if anything, you might inspire someone else, or might make someone else feel a little bit better, in the sense of that they're going through that too. And it might make you feel a little bit better because there might be like 15 other people going through the exact same thing. I think sometimes whenever we like stay in our head and in our feelings, we don't realize how many other people are going through the exact same thing, and we kind of beat ourselves up about it. And sharing that could be the most inspiring thing to someone else and to yourself. So where are you right now? What's painful to you? What do you want to change? And where can you improve? Like, what's something that you know that you can improve on? So that's overall, I would say that's what you need for this goal planning sesh. You don't need, like, if you have a pen and paper, you're good. You don't need the newest book, the newest planner. And that's something that I've grown to learn over the years. When I had the opportunity to ask a mentor or anyone a question, it would often be, what's your favorite personal development book? And that was Angie 5, 6, 7 years ago. And I think Angie today is, the question that you want to ask people that are successful isn't so much a question. It's just watch what they're doing. Watch how much they do less of this and they actually move. And I heard that from Tony Robbins was, if you want to follow someone and you want to see how a successful person works, don't listen to what their words say. Look at how fast their feet move. And that's so true, because I think that a high producer or a high achiever is a high producer. I think that top earning humans on this planet, they just produce more. And when I flipped that switch a couple of years ago, I went from hoping and dreaming that certain things would happen to things started to roll, because I became, and I hope that you can write this down, a content producing machine. And when I produced, that's when things started to roll. Even if it didn't work, even if it was a total flop, and I have had many flops in my career and in my life, but the thing about me is that I almost see an epic flop as one step closer. And that's something that I hope that you can understand. If you are a coach, if you are working for yourself, you're gonna not see that massive success right away. That's any entrepreneur, by the way. That's not just being a coach. That's anybody that works for themselves. And if anything, I will just give a bit of props to coaches right now, because I thought that my goals were so far away. My first big goal as a coach was to make $1,000 in a week, because that would have been huge for me. Now it's like that's insane that was once my goal, because I knew that if I made $1,000 a week, that would change my life. And I didn't see beyond that, which was honestly a great thing, because had I seen beyond that, I almost would have thought it was unattainable. And that's what I mean by bridging the gap. You have to believe that it's possible. It has to make sense in your mind. So sometimes starting smaller makes more sense. But I think that having those smaller achievable goals that you know that you can hit as a milestone, like a high five, let's keep going, is amazing. And I think that also on the flip side, having the massive pie in the sky, stupid, scary, insane goals, like building a house in freaking Disney. So 7 years ago, I heard from Andre about this neighborhood, and the only picture that I could find, so this is my dream board from 2015. I pulled up 2015 just because there's a lot on here that's very interesting. So this is what my dream board always looks like. You might have even seen this one if you've ever seen me talk about dream boards before. And just looking at this right now is insane, but I'll zoom in on a couple things. So my dream board is always, here, how do I do this? There we go. My dream board is always the desktop on my computer. And I don't know if you can see this, but right here, there is a Golden Oak logo with a bunch of sketches of houses. The neighborhood didn't exist yet. We just heard about it. And I thought, and Andre thought, that would be really cool. Did we have anywhere near what we needed to be there? No. Did we know we were gonna do it? No. But it was always the constant that stayed on my dream board. There was other things that had to do with income. There was other things like stay at the beach club resort or the yacht club resort, because we had never stayed at a luxury resort in Disney. How much income I wanted, gifts I wanted to give to my team. My only children are my dog, and then my entire team of coaches. So all the gifts that I wanted to do for Team Uproar, fitness stuff, and I categorized it. So that's one thing that I want you to start with, is not only, if you haven't thought about this yet or haven't shared it yet, share it. It'll be therapeutic for you. What didn't go well this year? What's frustrating you? What could you cry over that you can't do that anymore? That you're just, it hurts. You know that you're doing it, but you need to change. So if you haven't shared that yet, share it. And where are you at right now in terms of these categories? So the way that I map it out is every single New Year's, I just grab a legal pad and I'll write out the categories in my life that I'm looking at, like where do I want to excel? So if you don't have a pen and paper yet, grab one and map out your categories. So on this one, put my laptop back here so you can kind of be a part of this. So my mindset on this and the way that I did this vision board was, and by the way that I did it was just on PicMonkey. I Googled what the dimensions were for a desktop, for my laptop and my desktop computer, and then I'd usually take a chunk of it and I make that the background on my phone. Because the idea behind a vision board is not to create something pretty that takes you hours and then you put it in a drawer and you don't look at it until New Year's next year. I think that that's such a waste of time. It's fluffy and it sounds fun for the moment, but you're gonna look back and be like, wait, what? So can I just to poke at more pain points, because this is helpful, and I know that it can be painful, and those of you that are sharing the comments, thank you, and I think that the vulnerability will help you in the long run. But how many of you set a goal this year that you even said out loud and you told someone, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be a diamond coach this year, I'm gonna be an elite coach this year, I'm gonna make 7 figures this year, I'm gonna be top 10, I'm gonna be elite, I'm gonna be, and if you're not a coach and these words are gibberish to you, it might have been, I wanna get a promotion, or I'm gonna, I don't know, find my soulmate this year. Like something really extreme that you had started the year with so much certainty that you might have now, and you're like, this is what I want, no more, and I'm doing it, and I'm gonna hit superstar diamond, and I'm gonna be a top coach, and I'm gonna buy my dream home, and I'm gonna do all this. And you're sitting there now with a new year and you're thinking back, yeah, that didn't even come close to happening. Why? But I'm not trying to be mean. I'm actually asking you why, because I used to do that. I used to say, well, hey, I want to do this, and I want to achieve this, and I want to do this rank. And then I would look at the metrics at the end of the year and I'd be like, well, I didn't even come freaking close to that. Where did I let go? Like what happened to the speed at which I was running that I knew that I could do that? And then it's like something let go. I'll tell you what, 2 weeks into January, that's when most people are like, yeah, Netflix sounds like more fun. And that's just the majority of the population, which should excite you. You have such an upper hand. I feel like more than 90% of the population by January 5th to 10th have already given up, which gives you the biggest opportunity to see massive success, because your competition will diminish greatly by mid-January. It's just the truth. So it's nothing to get discouraged about, but if you've done it, it means many other people have done it, and it means you got to freaking change. And you also have to gut check your BS, because I love you and you should love yourself more than that, to BS yourself year after year after year. And how shitty would it be to get to December 2020 and be like, wow, I set the same goal again and I haven't progressed since December 2019. Seriously, how crappy of a feeling would that be, that you know that not only have you not grown, you haven't moved, and you might have actually digressed. Because if you're not growing, you're dying. You don't usually stay the same. You don't. You either lose relationships, or you lose momentum, or you gain weight, or you have health complications, or you lose money, or you go in the opposite direction, which is what we want for you. So stop bullshitting yourself. Love yourself more than to bullshit yourself. And I'm not saying that your goals are too big. It's actually the opposite. It's that somewhere along the way, you decided that complacency was a better option, that being comfortable was a better option, that feeling cozy and not working out, or not working your business, or not staying on your goals every single day was just more comfortable. And I see it time and time again. I'm going to get super real with you guys in a second. I'm going to need a sip of my champagne to say what I'm going to say. I see it time and time again that when coaches let go of their business, and the one that I hear a lot is, I'm just going to take a step back because there's all this life that's coming at me. There's life. There's so much stuff. Welcome to the club. Everybody has life. Everybody has life. There are people in this business that I have met that have gone through insane life shifts this year, from losing loved ones to health complications themselves, to stuff with their kids, to, did I already say family? Because family is usually a big one, to jobs, to everything. Life is coming at them, and they still, against all odds, made everything happen. So there is no excuses. No matter what you want to throw at me, I have seen one of my greatest friends in this business. I saw her lose her sister, her father, and her brother had a brain aneurysm in the same day, and she hit top 10 with me. We went to Italy together, and she's one of my greatest friends. So what do you got? What's your excuse? And I share that not to, because she would never want to be boo-hoo, poor me. It's actually the opposite. It's, if I can make this happen, so can you. There is no reason for you to sell yourself short. So one thing that we often see in this business is, I'm going to take a step back. It can be in any business. It can be our customers in our challenge group. I'm going to take a step back, but I'll be back. Very rarely happens. And do you want to know what's worse? What we see, and I'm just being super honest because I love you. And if you're someone that has come back and you've come back fighting and you're making this shit happen, then like props, seriously, because it's rare. What we see is people will let go. Not only will everything disintegrate because they've lost trust. Their followers that follow them publicly on social media, the person disappeared, so they've completely lost trust there. They've lost all the momentum and all of the storytelling power that they had on their social media, and all the people that were following their journey that might have been quiet and they didn't know about, they've completely lost their trust because they're like, wow, okay, well, if she's not sticking with it or he's not sticking with it, then I'll go follow someone that is, or I'll sign up with someone that is sticking with it. Furthermore, they will lose their team if they had one. They will lose their customers. Same thing, trust. Trust is huge. They will lose confidence in themselves because they've got complacent, and they will more likely, often than not, and we see it every time, will completely just lose control of their health and their fitness completely. And every single time we see it. That's why this business honestly is an amazing one, because when you're in it and you're growing, not only are you happy, you have friends, you have people that are watching your story that you're inspiring, so you're growing as a person and you strive to be better every single day, but you're healthy inside and out. But when you let go of it, it's amazing how much that can all disintegrate, and not amazing in a good way. And it's actually very hard. I think that's one of the hardest things for us as mentors is to watch that, because every single time that someone says, I'm just gonna take a break, we know what their life holds for them for the next 12 months to however long they choose to let it go. And to get it back is freaking hard, because you have to gain back all that trust, all that work that you've worked towards, and you have to work so much harder to be able to prove to others and to yourself that, okay, no, I've got this and I can do it. So stop with the breaks, stop with the complacency, stop with the comfortableness, because what's easier is not often the better way. In the long run, what's harder will serve you so much more. And that's the thing that I think that so many people can stand to learn in 2019. I'm not trying to be up on my soapbox, but that's what I notice is it's easier. It's more comfortable to let go. It's more comfortable to not have to push hard and to work towards your goals. Trust me, there has been days where in this business, especially in the growing phases of it, where I just wanted to throw in the towel. It was freaking hard. That would be any entrepreneur. If you asked any successful entrepreneur, they would all say, yeah, there was times I wanted to quit. It's hard. It's supposed to be hard. But if you can flip the narrative on yourself and think, okay, if I do this, if I can get through this day and this problem and this issue, there will be someone else that's going to need my help one day, and I will have the answer for them. That's the narrative that I use. I remember there was one day the thing is, you don't even remember why you're upset. Like a year later, I learned this from Tony Robbins also, the rocking chair method. And ladies, this is perfect for you. If you're mad at your husband or you're fighting with your husband, think about a rocking chair. When you are 90 some years old and you're rocking in your rocking chair, will you remember that? Will you remember that you are mad at him for not taking out the trash? Or will you remember that, your thing that you did on social media, your post that you did or whatever didn't work out and you're like crying about it? No, you're not going to remember that. So in the grand scheme of things, it's just part of your path. It's just one step further. So I always try and think of that, but sometimes it's harder to digest. And there was a day a couple of years ago that it was just a lot. We were moving into our house. I was very overwhelmed. That was my word of the year, overwhelm. And I didn't know what to do. And I had to hop on a team call and I had to train my team and I had to do something and I was pushing for goals and I was just overwhelmed. And I had a meltdown. And I remember thinking, you're not overwhelmed. you're blessed. You are friggin' lucky, because all the things that you are probably frustrated about, your business, your kids, your husband, your house chores, you have a roof over your head, you have a husband that loves you and that is with you, you have beautiful, healthy children, and you have a business that is growing. Even though you might not see that right now, if you play the long game and you actually go for it and you stop holding yourself friggin' back, you have a business that's growing. So yes, 4 examples of things that could stress you out, but you've got 4 beautiful things in front of you. So flip the narrative, figure your shit out, and get after the stuff that you want. So one thing that I wanted to cover, that I always go over this, is what worked. So yes, we went over the painful shit, like what didn't, why you need to change, what your year could look like 12 months from now. And that's what I was trying to do, is without pulling it out of you. And if you want to play that game with me, we can. But if you stay where you are right now and you kind of focus in on like those things that are frustrating you and that are basically that could make you cry, that you're just like, oh my God, like the sleeping on the couch and not working my business and like not actually going after my stuff that I know that I can achieve. And those little quirks that you basically self-sabotage. If you were to keep going like that for 12 months, what would your life look like on December 2020? On New Year's Eve 2020, what does your life look like? Where are you? Have you grown? Have you disintegrated? Have you lost people in your life? Have you lost friends? Have you lost your business? Have you lost whatever, income? Did you go on the trip that you wanted to go on? But I think what's more powerful is if you think like 5 years down the road. So like 5x that. You keep going with the habits that you have that you know are terrible, where you skip certain days, or you turn it off for 2 weeks at a time and you try and come back and you play the on and off game, or you just have habits that you know that you need to change. Maybe you just don't believe in yourself and you lack confidence and you're like, I need to be better at this. I was there. I was the shyest person in the world, and I knew I needed to scrap that narrative, because that's what I kept telling myself is, I'm shy. I wasn't shy. I just needed to put myself out there and grow a little. And once I did that, it was amazing what happened. I never thought that I would be someone that speaks on a stage in front of 30,000+ people. I've done it, and I love it. I never thought that I would be that person. I never thought that I would teach other people to do that. And that's who I am now. Like the people that have known me a long time, like perfect example, like my parents and Andre's parents, they think it's almost hilarious. They're like, the person that you were 7 years ago is not at all who you are today, in the best way possible. Like that's what's waiting for you. So why are you holding yourself back? So what would your life look like if you kept going the way that you're going right now, with all the BS and all the excuses and all the reasons why you can't, and the days on and the days off, and the I'm going to be complacent, I'm going to be comfortable, and I'm going to watch Netflix? What does your life look like? Are you where you want to be? Probably not. But if you were to double down and flip that on what did you do well this year? Like, let's stop beating ourselves up for 2 seconds. Have a sip of whatever it is that you're sipping on. I would love to know what you guys are drinking. You don't have to be drinking alcohol, by the way. But if you were to flip that script and be like, okay, what did I do well this year? What worked this year? Like, what's a system, something that you did really, really well? And one thing that I saw on my dream board from 5 years ago, it's right in the top corner right here. So it's a picture of a YouTuber that I used to follow named Candy Johnson. She's like a makeup guru. I don't even think she YouTubes anymore. And she had something like 1 million subscribers. And I thought, I want to be able to get to 100,000 subscribers. This was 5 years ago. Postman. Can you, seriously? Carl, that was dramatic. So this was from 2015. If you would have told me at the end of 2015, hey, you didn't get anywhere near that 100K, but the goal was still there. And I think that that's where we fall short, is we have a goal, we have a big pie in the sky goal. Like there is literally goals on here that I still haven't achieved. But I look at it and it's not like, well, you suck. I'm on my way. I'm in a phase of growth. If you're growing, you're good. You are good. And one day something's gonna click and you're gonna 10x that, and it's gonna catch and you're gonna go. And I always use that example whenever I'm talking to Andre about something that I'm really passionate about doing, AKA, building YouTube this year. And by the way, I'm getting this question a lot from coaches. Do I need to build YouTube? Do I need to let go of Instagram? No. And can I just make this as simple as possible? So I wrote a book this year, and that was a big goal that I had set in January. And I think we mashed it out like February and it went out to everybody by like March. Like it was out. So one thing that I think is huge when you're setting a goal is understand where you want to be. Like what's the big pie in the sky goal? But understand from that what's working that's going to get you there. So one thing that I wrote down that worked for me in 2019, that was one of those things that I said to Andre, like you go and you go and you go and you go and you work towards it. And even if it's not working, you rinse and repeat, jig one little thing, like a 1 millimeter shift to the right could change everything. And you go, rinse and repeat, go, and stop stopping. And that's what I was doing. I kept stopping. And once this year that I committed 3 years ago to really starting and growing. So this was 5 years ago that I wrote 100K. I was at like less than 1,000, okay? I think I was at like 100. And I remember seeing this girl and I was like, she's 20,000 subscribers, maybe one day. But this is what I needed to understand, is that I express myself so much better on video. You guys can see that. Like I'm just a very, like imagine, Andre always says like people like that comment and they're like, oh my God, you have a soothing voice. And he laughs because he's like, try living with her. Like I talk all the time and this is almost like an outlet for me that I get to share the things that work. And I always joke that I love the show and tell, but I do. Like I love being like I stopped myself earlier, but I'm gonna do it now. Do you guys see how cute my Prosecco bottle is? This was like a $12 bottle. Look how it's so beautiful. Like I am a show and tell. If I find something that I love, that I'm excited about, I'm gonna be like, heck yeah, I'll share it. Whether that's something that works in my life, like a philosophy or a system, like the way that I just use like my bullet journal, and that's just not pretty, but it is what it is. Or the way that I wrote my book. And what I'm getting to with the book is the whole thing that what worked for me this year was really putting what I taught in the book and kind of schooling myself with it. Like I was reading my own worksheets in the book and I thought, I'm not even taking my own advice. Like, yes, it's what I do, but I needed to switch it around. So the way that the Content Machine book is explained is that you literally build a machine. You have one main cog that feeds everything else. That's how I'm able to be everywhere. Everyone's like, how are you even on Twitter? Wait, you have a blog and you have a website? Like how? And I would have looked at someone years ago and been like, yeah, there's no way. Like she probably has like 10 million assistants. I don't. I edit all my own videos. I film all my own stuff. I take all my own pictures. I edit my own pictures. I post on my own Instagram. I'm the one commenting in DM. Like I do that. But how? And it's because I have one cog that feeds the others. The problem is that my main cog was not authentic to me. I felt like such a fraud. I'm sorry. Like I cannot go onto Instagram and be like, hey, you guys, everyone, so this is like my champagne bottle and I love it. And everyone, I hope you have a very happy new year and like, may you all achieve your goals. And like, that'd actually be super cute. I'm gonna do that after. But I'm serious, like, that's not me. I would much rather share and explain like all of my favorite New Year's finds, the sparkly bottles and the glasses, I'm just giving an example, and then have an Instagram post to almost support that or that's pulled from it. That's the principles of the book. So that's what I needed to understand. And I hope that can a little bit answer your question. Like if you're sitting there being like, well, Angie Belmar is on YouTube and she's growing her business with her YouTube following. I am, but it's because I will say that in 2020, the biggest shift, I think like it's gonna be 10x because you started to see in 2019, people read through the BS. And I think that that's what's making my YouTube following grow at such a rapid rate, is that I'm just myself. I'm sharing stuff that I truly love. And I barely edit the videos. I don't edit out what I'm saying. I am who I am. So yes, you can start a channel if you want to, but if and only if that juices you and that's how you choose to express yourself, and if it was to feed all your other platforms. But if you love photography and you love taking pictures, then go on Instagram. If you love just like a quick like tweet, why would you go on Twitter? Like I just think this is the question that I have for you. If I or any other person that you're following in terms of like leadership in this business, if they switch to Twitter, if I switch to Twitter tomorrow, would you open a Twitter account and be like, hey, I need to start Twitter? Because if the answer is yes, then you're not being your authentic self. So you need to find the thing that you truly love and that jazzes you, that you know that you can stay consistent with? The answer is not, well, such and such is doing this, because you know what you're going to do? You're going to play ping pong all year. You're going to be like, I need to do this, and then I need to write an ebook, and then I need to open up a challenge group, and then I need to rank advance, and then I want to start a YouTube channel, and you're just going to dabble in it. So back to my original question. If you started this year or last year with all of these goals, like, I'm going to go 15-star diamond in my business, I'm going to earn $1,000 a week, I'm going to start a podcast. That was one that I heard a lot this year. I'm going to start a YouTube channel, and you have 0 podcasts loaded on your podcast channel, which doesn't even exist yet. You are an emerald coach that got nowhere near to even hitting 1-star diamond, and you're barely earning anything in your business. It's time to self-assess your shit. And that's, I think, something that we can do today, like, to make that shift happen. And I think that the first step is stop dwelling on all the stuff that you want to do or that you see other people doing that you deem as something that could work, because it's not about the coulds. It's, do you want to find joy in that area of growth? And let's talk about the things that worked for you this year, and then you 10x that. So the example that I gave was pushing that main platform to the thing that brought me the most joy. It brings me so much joy to plug in, talk with you guys, sit down, have a glass of champagne. Like, that's what I love. I'll be honest, putting up an Instagram post used to be really freaking awkward for me. And for that reason, I did not stay consistent with it. I didn't like it. But once I found that main cog to feed the content and gave me something to talk about, then it made sense. So I'm just using social media as an example because that's something that I can assess that it worked. That is something that went really freaking well for me in 2019. So let's stop beating ourselves up. And I want you guys to list in the comments, what worked for you? What went well? Like, what did you love? What brought you joy in 2019? Was it a certain experience? Like those of you guys that went to Summit this year, did that bring you joy? What was, I know this was right at the end of 2019, but something that brought me massive joy, that was something on this freaking dream board. And I'm going to share other things on this dream board, and I'm going to go through my dream board that I just made with you guys. But I had a picture of a leadership retreat. I had a picture of Tony Robbins. I wanted to take my coaches to Tony Robbins. I had a picture of an island and like this long table. And that represented, there was a representation of I wanted to be invited to the top 10 trip. And that picture was actually of Italy. And that the year after we achieved the highest thing that you can achieve in this business, which is to go top 10. And we did it again last year. We went to Greece. And I wanted to be able to recreate that top 10 experience for my top coaches. So earlier this year, we put out to our team that we were going to take them to our favorite place in the world. And we wanted it to be bougie. Like, that's what the top 10 trip is, bougie. It's something that you see on TV. Like, when the Real Housewives take their vacation, that's what I wanted. I was like, I want a chef and I want to treat them and celebrate them. So we literally hopped on Zoom with them a couple of days ago. And we shared with our top girls that achieved elite this year, which is one of the biggest things that you can, and a couple of them are in the top, and one is actually in the top 10. So the one in the top 10, we said you can bring your spouse. And we're going to take them to Turks and Caicos, and we got a villa, and it's decked out. Like, it's like the most modern, on the beach, like, it's insane. And to achieve that, like, that's such a huge, like, I did that right. Like, that's a big win. Like, what are the things that they might not have been for you? It might have been a massive gift to someone else, but you really freaking won there. Like, you're excited about that. So thinking about, where did you grow? Like, what did you learn? Even if it was a lesson and it was painful, but you felt like you came out of it on top and you feel like, just thinking back, it could be anything. Like, you had your best year in terms of consistency with your fitness program and you're crushing it in terms of fitness. And maybe you saw something in terms of growth. It could be some sort of a system in your business that it just went really well. For me, one win this year was, I'll just share all my wins with you guys. I'm going to write them down with you. And you guys should be listing them in the comments too with me. Just be vulnerable and share your stuff. So one was definitely finding my voice on social media and finding a way to express myself that I could connect with others that understood me. Like, whenever you hear someone say with like-minded people, I hate when people say that, because I'm for 3 years, I was like, I don't even know what they're saying. It just basically means that they get you. You found a planet of people like you, that they understand you. And that's, I think, something that I did really, really well this year. It is getting hot in here. And I think I did that really well this year. And I'm very happy with that. And I will say it's become not about the number. Like I don't look at views, I don't look at likes, I actually love that Instagram, I don't know if they did it for everybody, but I love that Instagram took away likes. At least they did in Canada. Because it's not about that for me. It's about how many comments I have. And I am freaking proud that usually when I post an Instagram picture now, over the past, I would say 3 months, so the tail end of 2019 for me was very successful because there's conversation and community happening on my social media pages. It's not about how many likes that I can have. It's easy for someone to double tap. It takes a lot more heart and effort to leave a comment and to care and to have a conversation. And I always look at that on people's social media. And you know what else breaks my heart when I see you guys' social media and there's 5 comments with no answers. Even if it's a heart, that person took the time to comment on your picture and they care about what you're doing. What the F, man? Show some love back. Like, I just think that it's a sense of greed that you're like, well, 200 people didn't comment. You're never going to get to that next level if you aren't starting conversation with the people that give a crap about you right now. So where I would see success was definitely like growing that, seeing a sense of community that was true, that was positive, that was authentic, and that just kind of grew itself. Like it just kept building because I was comfortable being me. So I would say that. And then what translated from that was when I opened my Fit Gym, which I believe I did at the beginning of September, I'm running the single best challenge group that I have ever run in the last 7 years. So if you were in my challenge group 7 years ago when I was a new coach, I'm really sorry because it probably sucked compared to this one. Well, if you're still a customer of mine, you're welcome to join it. But one thing that I learned was give value. Like Andre and I talked about this. We thought, how can we build a group, like a virtual fit gym is what we call it, where someone gets so much value when they join that they're blown away. Surprise and delight is what Andre calls it, where they're shocked that they're like, whoa. And to the point where someone could never come back and be like, Angie Belmar didn't give me any value. That's what we wanted, was like that they're just, wow. We right now have the single most amazing challenge group I have ever seen. Like they don't stop posting. So anybody that's ever, if you're experiencing this in your business where you're like, I have crickets, if that's happening to you, it's time to like fresh start, reassess. So what is it that we did? One, we gave tremendous value. So I took a couple screenshots to show you guys, just give you some ideas of things that we're doing. But whenever they join, I have all these little subgroups. So I have all these little subgroups that are in the album section that are basically like PDFs. That are, when they click on them, there's one that says start here, which is ultimately like how to take your measurements and how to start. There's bikini prep. It's literally like a little PDF, like a little baby ebook that's like, this is how you prep for vacation. Like what workout do you do? What do you focus on? How do you shed the last 5 pounds? There is progress pics. I want to see their progress pics and I want to already share some. So I shared 8 other photos just to get them inspired and like share with them like this is what's possible and what happens when you submit that. Because a lot of people, like how many of you have shared that there is massive amounts of money to be won to your challengers if they're a finalist in the Beachbody Challenge? How many of you have shared that? Do they even know? Do you even know? When you go to Summit and those people win those checks at the end of the night, like multiple people win those checks, there's people, by the way, that win weekly. Like Andre's won it for his transformation with Body Beast. A lot of people don't know about that. You might not even know about that. Those are people's challengers. That's someone's challenger that just exceeded expectations, lost over 100 pounds. Like these are the extreme, amazing transformations that you see on stage, and won $100,000. Like, do you share that? Or at the very least, they could win like I finished my program tank top or t-shirt. Like share that with them. The other thing we do is little contests. Every couple of months, we'll do like a $20 gift card to Aerie or like a $50 gift card to Lululemon or something to get themselves a new set of clothing that fit their new body. Like to me, that's something that's exciting. Food tips, crush cravings. I have a mixology section because it's very on brand. Meal plans, abs blueprint, like things that actually get me excited. The other thing I do is I rebrand it every 3 months. So I just rebranded my challenge group. So before it was all like palm leaves and there was pink and stuff like that. This one I have like balloons with smiley faces and it's still very Angie and very anyone that gets me. But I keep myself excited. The other thing that I want you guys to know is, just like I said on my social media, how I comment under every single person's comment and I acknowledge them, I do the same thing in my challenge group. I am in there. So hopefully that can answer your question to any coach that's like, oh, she's leaving her business for YouTube. Oh, I can share this here. I know that there might be people from the public that are watching this, but I'll just share with you guys. So in my business, weekly, which my goal in 2015, and this was a pie in the sky goal, was to make $6K a week. So I was close then. I think I was making about $2,500 to $3K, and it was growing. And I wanted to make $6,000 a week. This year, Andre and I, and I always say Andre and I because we work our business together, we've made anywhere from $15K to $25K in a week, plus bonuses. And I share that with you guys because YouTube, the biggest month I ever had was in October, and I made $10,000 for the month. That's not even what I make in a week as a coach. So to anyone that's sitting there being like, well, maybe YouTube is a great, and there's always that other bigger, better deal. Like, I'm going to leave what I'm doing now because she's doing that. It doesn't even compare. It's not even the same. And I'm sharing that with you guys because I freaking love you. And I think that there is this stigma around YouTubers that they're super duper millionaires. They're millionaires because when they get to 10 million subscribers, which by the way, I'm nowhere near, they get massive brand deals, like with Maybelline and stuff like that. To me, I'm just saying, like, why? And I'm starting to recognize and dealing with brand deals and stuff that how good we freaking have it as coaches, how uncomplicated it has to be. But for whatever reason, you might be overcomplicating it right now and thinking that, oh, but there's someone out there. I've given this example before that your business is like a relationship. And if you are in your business and you are growing it and you are nurturing it and you're watering that, then it's going to grow. Just like your marriage or your relationship. But if you're sitting there in your business being like, oh my God, that business is super cute. I should do that. Yeah, what if I did that? You're gonna step out on your business is gonna step out on you, and it's gonna dwindle down to shit. Like, I love you guys, but seriously, that's what some of you are doing. Like, oh my God, I should do YouTube, and that should be where I make my money. Seriously, stop stepping out on your business, because your business is gonna dwindle down and die, and you're gonna end up having to divorce your business, and your business is gonna hate you. You get what I'm saying. But for real, I just think that needs to be brought up, because I just think that there's it's very easy to look at all the other shiny objects and to think that you don't have it super good right now, and you do. You are sitting in front of a potential multi-million-dollar business if you just double down. So what's going well? Like, what's working for you right now? So I shared social media, my challenge group, which is like the basis of my business. There was another one that I had written down. The things that I wanted to do, like the funnels that I wanted to create to basically meet more people and to attract more people and to just be more authentically myself. One thing that worked for me was to stop with the planners. So I just got myself a dotted notebook and I just write my stuff down. So here, by the way, this thing is a brain. It's a brain dump. And what I did is I just started writing out, like, what are the things I need to get? Like, what do I need to do? Where do I need to be? Everything that's in my noggin, and then I go from there. So what's working? What worked for you? One thing that really worked for me this year was whenever on a video that I would talk about what I do as a coach, I would always have my email, or on my website, which was super easy, by the way, it's just a Squarespace website, I'd have a form that someone could fill out to get more information, or they could just sign up right there. And that created such a sense of like community and conversation. Whereas before, what I used to do, and I think there's a lot of coaches on here that are going to feel good about this, I used to do the team uproar sneak peek is what I called it, because I had so many people coming to me with questions that I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to put everybody in a group. I'm going to call it a sneak peek, and I'm going to answer all their questions at once. You don't have to do that. And I haven't done that in a year and a half. So you don't have to do, if you're sitting there and you're a coach and you're like, well, I don't run sneak peeks. You don't have to. I don't anymore. And I have amazing conversations with people, one-on-one, in-depth conversations, not a copy-pasted message. In my inbox, I send them a video, detailed information of what we do on the team, what that looks like. I already have like a short one on my website for them to look at so that they can kind of get some ideas. And some people just from that are ready to sign up. but others want more information. So I have 3 videos that I created that are how I earn money and what I do in a day and what my story was, what it's like to be a coach. Like nothing crazy and anything that you could answer, but I just think that if you're basically, the way that I would explain it, and I always say this, and I've gotten corrected before on a team call, I'm like, no, that's what I meant. Shoot and then aim. Just get after your goal and figure it out. Like I said, do the 2 millimeter shift as you go. Shoot the arrow and then aim it. Don't aim and spend 10 million hours or the whole of 2020 trying to plan it out and then shoot your arrow in December of 2020, which is what most people do. And it's amazing what people can achieve that last quarter of the year because they push so hard. Like the amount of people that you saw on the National Wake Up Call or in our team alone achieve all these goals. A lot of these people just got buckled down in September and October and were like, let's do this. And they made it freaking happen. So it's incredible what happens when you have laser focus, but imagine what your life would look like if you had that laser focus for the whole year. Like it'd be insane. So I already shared how I do my vision board, but I wanted to go through in detail the way that I map it out. So like I said, I have categories. So this right here on the left was very much like superficial stuff, like material, not superficial, material. So I have my house, and I actually want to flip the camera for a second and show this to you guys. But right in this corner here, I have a picture of a staircase, and it's just a staircase. I don't know where I found it. I just really liked it, and it was like a dream staircase. I have a picture of a kitchen. I have a picture of a couch. The staircase I'm looking at right now, 5 years ago, would have been a dream. It was on my vision board. The staircase I'm looking at, for whatever reason, looks exactly to a T like that one. The couch right there, that couch that I always share with you guys that I love, my tufted couch, looks exactly like the one in here. And then from there I have like dream closet, bed. The freaking bed even looks like it. And then I wanted like a YouTube studio or like a podcast studio. Scary. It looks like the one upstairs. Like 5 years later. And I think that that's something like, stop selling yourself short, stop stopping, because it might be next year, it might be 2 years, it might be 5 years, and you might look back and be like, oh my gosh, I did it. Like that's what's possible. But stop stopping, because you're just delaying your goals from coming to fruition. So then I have like the crazy stuff like cars, home gym, Golden Oak right here. And I have the one picture that existed. And I wrote how much the house was. You need $3 million to make that happen. And I put like a pile of money. Like you can be a jerk, okay? You might be thinking like, but that's so, have a me section. Like I want these things. And then have maybe something for your team. So I have the whole middle is all team. Like I had top coach, being at Celebration. I had a goal of having like a ton of coaches come with me to Arizona leadership, which is insane because we had a ton. Tiffany necklaces. I wanted to be able to buy Tiffany necklaces for my coaches. I wanted to take my team to Disney. We did that last year. I wanted to be a top 10 team. I wanted to speak on stage. I hadn't spoken on stage yet. It scared the crap out of me, but I wanted to do it. I wanted to earn the quarterly bonus. That was something else. The quarterly bonus runs from anywhere from $1,000 to $50,000. I wanted to earn a quarterly bonus. I wanted to be, so I wasn't even 2-star yet, obviously. I screenshotted my back office, my coach back office, and I put what rank I wanted. Like I dubbed all the numbers in. I took a picture of the 2-story suite on the cruise for the Success Club trip that we earn as coaches, and I wanted to have that room. Guess who stayed in that room twice? 2 Success Club trips I stayed in that room. I wanted to do a photo shoot for my coaches. I put the programs that I wanted to do. I wanted to be in a test group. Do you know the year after I made this? This is super big actually, because you will encounter massive disappointment in this business. So I put a Tony Horton program that was coming out that year in 2015, 22-minute hardcore. I really wanted to be in the test group. I wasn't chosen to be in the test group. There was a program after that called Core to Force. I wasn't chosen to be in that test group either. And I just thought, I was so disappointed. Like I actually picked a mini fit. I was so disappointed and I was hurt, and I just thought, when will this ever happen for me? The test group after that, I've been in every single test group since that other one. So I had 2 fails and then it clicked. And that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you guys. Like you're gonna try and you're gonna try and you might fail. You might try again and you might rinse and repeat and try, and then it's gonna click and then it's gonna go. That's really, I think, what success in this business and even in life is. Like once you get it, it clicks and it goes, and then you might get stagnant and you might have to reinvent, and it's gonna click and it's gonna go again. It's just how it is. So then I have health on the side. So I had social media stuff up here. Like I wanted to do a blog, I wanted to start YouTube, and then this was all like health and fitness. Like I wanted to get my meal prep on track. I really wanted some abs. I wrote work ethic because I sucked at being consistent at my workouts. So just words, like, and I put words all over it. So I just use PicMonkey to do that. Like I said, I grab the resolution size of my screen. So it becomes my desktop screen, it becomes my computer screen, and it becomes my iPhone screen. And I cut it in half. So that was the one in 2015. So I will share, I'll just X out of that and I'll show you guys what my computer looks like right now. So the way that I do it on my computer right now is I have like a pink bar with like the donut sprinkles that you guys see on my podcast for my files and stuff, so it's clean. And then I have all the pictures here. So I have on here, I have like bloggers and YouTubers and people that inspire me. And I'll just be really honest for a second, that aren't coaches. Like, go outside. Like, who are people that you follow? You don't have to follow every other Beachbody coach. Who are people that you follow? Like, there's certain fashion bloggers and certain like random makeup artists that I love, that I buy product from, that have amazing YouTube channels. There's fitness influencers. There's a girl from Toronto, Ontario that I love, and she's like 5 years younger than me, and I just think she's like the greatest thing, and I follow her for inspiration. I have a crap ton of pictures, and I think it's really crazy how much it's grown from that old vision board to this one. How much that one picture of Golden Oak has now like encompassed like the whole bottom half. So I have what the house is going to look like, because a lot of people are saying, well, now that you have the house, what's your goal look like? Well, the next step is to complete and build a successful home. So I'm going to give you guys a tip, and this is Andre's tip, and then the rest is like health and fitness and stuff like that. So I always kind of mash it by categories so that it's visually makes sense. Now, and the way that I organize pictures, I have files on my computer. So I just save off of Pinterest, wherever, and I pull inspiration. I put all the pictures in a file, and then I pull up my blank PicMonkey canvas, and I drag all the pictures in, add some text. That's how I do it. So how do you go from making that, but actually making stuff happen? And I will share the tip from my husband, Andre. What he does every single day is I can actually ask him to bring his pile of papers downstairs. He will make a to-do list every single day, and it's on a legal pad. So he doesn't have a fancy planner either. Legal pad, and then at the bottom, it'll say his big year goal. And our year goal for 2019, every single day, he would have his whole to-do list, and it said, I bought lot X, Y, and Z in Golden Oak. We bought lot, or it would say, we bought lot X, Y, and Z in Golden Oak this year. And I don't know if you've heard this story, but one day this year, there was a couple that was looking at our lot, and the realtor told me. So I went upstairs and I grabbed a pen and I scratched out, I wrote this week, and we put the down payment on it that day. And I think that that's not only the power of urgency, but it's the power of having your stuff in front of you every single day, and it also not being optional. If your goals are optional to you, then they don't really matter that much. But if they truly matter, then stop making them an option. Like, stop making them fair weather, because you shouldn't be a fair weather person. I don't think that you are. So why are your goals fair weather? Why is it if it happens, cool. If it doesn't, whatever. It's not whatever, because that, like you're feeling now in the exercise that we went through in the beginning of this, that stuff will eat away at you. When you're working towards achieving something, or you set out a goal and you're where you started, it's not a good feeling. And if you 5x that 5 years from now, would you want to be the person that had one little dream picture of maybe something crazy, like an insane trip to Greece, or your dream home, or your dream boat, or paying for your kids' education, or taking like a huge family vacay, or buying your dream, whatever. But wouldn't it be insane that 5 years later, you're like, yeah. And wouldn't it be even crazier that 5 years later, the income goal that you set for yourself, that you looked back at that $1,000 a week or that $6,000 a week, and you're like, yeah, that's cute. Like, I crushed that. I crushed my goals. Imagine yourself 5 years from now, and you might be leading a training for your team of how to crush your goals. That, to me, is what this is all about, is stop holding yourself back. Cheers to your damn self. Write out something. Get a vision board that excites you, that makes you want to push every single day, that brings you joy, and that you stop BSing yourself over. Like, and I think that the key to that is really What brings you joy? Like, what do you want out of this business? What do you want out of this life? And this is where this training group, I think, is really going to make a massive difference, because it's not for the faint of heart. And I said that to you guys launching this training group. So your best year ever. And it's a top coach training. It's a bunch of top coaches that are going to share their best tips. We have a bunch of our own coaches, like our own successful coaches, the girls that are coming to Turks. I messaged the Turks group. I'm like, can you guys talk to them and just share your top tips? Like, how do you cut out the BS? How do you actually make it happen? So the information is not going to be the issue. But I am so curious to see who is going to talk their way at the beginning and who will be MI by the 17th. Because that's when most people are. Don't be like the masses. Don't be the person that goes MIA by the 17th on their goals that they set on the 1st. Seriously. I told you guys it was going to get rowdy. I told you there was going to be a lot of real talk. But seriously, I think that my greatest lesson over the past 5 years was to stop selling myself short, to stop thinking small, to dream freaking big, and to know that I could bridge that gap, and to truly believe in that goal at the end of the tunnel, and to know that it was possible, and to have a plan that I worked towards it every single day, that I saw it every single day, and that I worked towards it, and to stop planning, to start doing, to have my feet move instead of my mouth moving, and to shoot and then aim. Get after your goal. Believe in yourself and friggin' make it happen. So I would love to know from you guys, and we'll cap it at this, but what's your big goal? Like, what do you want to achieve? What do you want to achieve let's just say at the end of this training? So this is our kickoff call. And again, if you're not on the team, just email me, or if someone else invited you to this for whatever reason, email them, but make sure that they're on Team Uproar. But if you want to be a part of the training, you're more than welcome, but you have to be a coach on Team Uproar. So what we're going to go through is intense. It's going to be 2 straight weeks, 2 weeks and a little bit of straight intensity. But what do you want to achieve at the end of those 2 weeks? Like, what on January 17th, when my top coach she's going to cap it for us and give you guys some real talk and just talk to you about, like, what now? Where do you want to be in your business? Let's stop talking about, like, where do you want to be a year from now? Where do you want to be? Like, what does your momentum look like headed in to 2 weeks into January? Like, what does your momentum look like? What have you achieved? How are you feeling? Are you excited? Are you passionate? Do you have, better work ethic already? Are you waking up earlier? Are you going to bed later? Are you pumped? Are you staying consistent with your stuff? Where are you at? Maybe you've achieved a certain rank. Maybe your income's already growing. Like, what does that look like? And I really would love to know what your big goal is. Like, what's your thing that's on your dream board that you're like, that would change my life? Like, that's what I want. The dream home, the rank, the income, the big thing. Like, what's your big thing? And again, it needs to be special to you. Like, what's your golden oak? Like, what's your thing? Just like I shared with social media, like with YouTube, it's special to me. It's something that makes me me. What's your thing? What's the thing that makes you click? What's the thing that, you can connect with other people on that are like-minded just like you? People that might love to knit. People that, maybe you want to go to Bali on like a big retreat where you just like bring nothing but your toothbrush, like, and connect with people on that like wanderlust life. Like, what's the thing that you truly freaking love, that you nerd out about? What's your dream big goal? Like, what brings you joy? And I think that that's the biggest lesson in this entire little long workshop that we've done. All the workshops, by the way, are going to be between 30 and 60 minutes. This one will probably be the longest because I'm the most long-winded person on the planet. But I truly hope that this helped you. If it did, let me know. If it hit home, let me know. If you had an aha moment, if you cried, if you drank, if you laughed, let me know. I love the crap out of you guys, and I will see you later. Bye, dudes.